U.S. military has a large presence in California, over 30 bases throughout the state.
There's numerous encroachment challenges, and it's not always the ones that you think. There's the electronic spectrum encroachment. There is encroachment on our ranges. There's encroachment on our sea ranges. And there's also legislative encroachment.
There are no military bases located in Plumas County. What is located in Plumas County up in the air are military flight training zones and military use areas that we've just learned about in the last 3 years.
And so Randy Wilson, who's the planning director from Plumas, had a story about hiking over a certain ridge, and he was always curious why every once in a while a jet would come over at 100 feet. And so he realized, wow, okay, there's a 100-foot training route.
And they came up and gave us a presentation, showed us for the first time where these military training areas were. As a result, because we were updating the general plan, we incorporated goals and policies into the general plan such that we could work on compatibility issues should something be proposed within these military training areas that could cause compatibility issues.
The military is an integral part in communities large and small in California. Over 250,000 Californians are employed by the Department of Defense. And so economically, really culturally, the military is an integral part of our state.
You know, many of the bases historically were the middle of nowhere. Well, as we continue to grow, approaching 50 million in the next 20 years, that those impacts really start to show on the bases. So how do we work with local governments and the military to raise awareness about those issues?
What we have to primarily worry about is noise complaints. And with ordnance being fired into the impact area, with aircraft overflights, Camp Pendleton sits on the coast. It divides Los Angeles from San Diego. And within this area, you have a lot of surrounding areas that have built up right up to the borders of Camp Pendleton.
In 2002, there was a bill that was passed, AB 1468, which requires cities and counties to consider the military readiness activities within their general plan. Then in 2004, there was a bill that was passed that requires cities and counties to notify the military when they are doing those general plan updates or when certain development applications are proposed in areas that might impact installations or training routes. In 2008, we managed 2 joint land use studies with Office of Economic Adjustment.
Once we found out that there were these military training zones laced throughout the county, the Board of Supervisors embraced it as an important element to be compatible with these areas and for national security purposes, for safety purposes, and for patriotic purposes.
The California Military Land Use Compatibility Analyst is a web-based GIS application that allows developers and cities and counties to go online and enter their address, enter their lat long, some location coordinates to determine if their project is adjacent or underneath a training route or an installation. And if it is, then they're required to send a notice to the military that they're doing something in that area.
This is the desert area of Kern County where we have our major wind farms and as well as commercial solar photovoltaic. So Edwards Air Force Base is in the southern end of the desert of Kern County. And then we have the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake.
So here at Edwards Air Force Base, we develop combat power for the United States Air Force.
We're the weapons division for naval aviation. So basically, we're responsible for testing and evaluating and developing, in some cases, all of the Navy's weaponry.
We have issues regarding our airspace. If I put a 1,200-foot cell tower right in the pathway of where there's some future military mission, I could compromise the Department of Defense's ability to carry out that mission.
Why are wind turbines important? Because that interferes with our ability to do radar tests, which is one of our primary, obviously, employment capabilities inside of any aircraft. The other is frequency.
And when the wind turbines are turning, that corrupts that data, and so we don't get good readings, and so it's hard for us to make the corrections needed to make sure those aircraft weapons are as stealthy as they can be, as quiet signature-wise, both in the multiple spectrums as they can be, to ensure we're as effective as we need to be.
There were a lot of areas where we needed to better understand how we wanted to integrate and work together.
We need collaboration between communities and the DoD to create land use plans, to create planning documents that actually provide for your staff planners, if you're a local government, some rules of the road.
Well, I think it's not an insurmountable problem. I think we just need to continue to work together and understand the problems we each have, which is open and transparent dialogue.
When I see the wind turbines, especially when I see them moving like this, and I see the solar photovoltaic projects, I see the future. This is the future of the United States, this is the future of California, and we're just really proud that we could be part of it and at the same time we could support our military mission.